Initially, the debate deals with the wide spectrum that yoga represents. Many praised its physical benefits, but its spiritual roots can't be denied.
What led me to yoga originally was just exercise. Now it's become so much more about a mental thing, about focus and about finding a peace and finding a calmness that I didn't think it would be at first.
What I find about the onset of yoga and the practice that really is very prevalent in the church is that we have to be careful getting defensive right away, because most of the people I know who practice yoga are stretching. The Bible doesn't have anything to say about stretching. And it's kind of the same metaphor. A lot of pastors are stretching Bible verses to sort of assuade people from something that's just exercise.
I think it's ludicrous to say that yoga stops at stretching, and one of my favorite definitions of yoga is the art and science of self-awareness. And I think that as you continue to practice yoga, you are led to that still small quiet place inside, which is the hole where God can be.
Just for the record, we might try to get that pronunciation of those terms a little more exactly. So we have yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. And so asana, of course, are the stretching or poses. But in this conception of the Ashtanga or eight-limbed yoga, all those, at least on one interpretation, all 8 limbs are supposed to be practiced together, and so they mutually help or reinforce one another.
I would warn my congregants to be careful about diving into anything that is outside the biblical realm when it comes to spirituality. But when it comes to the values of stretching, it seems kind of silly to worry about it if it's exercise.
It's been like a year to 2 years that I've been doing it regularly, several times a week. And it took a while, but eventually, it became more of a spiritual thing when I think I realized if I wasn't feeling good and I went to yoga, I felt so much better. So from that, it became I'm going to explore this a little more, and then eventually I just realized it really made me happy, and I could really reach a sense of calm and determination and focus that I couldn't really reach anywhere else.
The goal of yoga is to self-realize, for oneself to realize one's true nature. In Hinduism, it says that the entire creation is nothing but God, and the purpose of human life is to realize that.
Well, they talk about the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, faith, hope, love. The Trinity through your spirit, mind, and your body, the connection in the Catholic Church. I never knew, and Jesus Christ never said, hey, look, do the crow or do this downward dog and it'll bring your physical body into your spiritual practice. And I had never even been instructed, they say, bring your mind, body, and spirit into your religious practice, but they don't ever say how.
Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. That means, what is the purpose of yoga? He explains that purpose of yoga is to control the flow of thoughts into the mind. Not only control it, but niruddha means to stop it. Now, how does that work? Why do you stop the flow of mind? We all know how mind functions. Mind is never able to concentrate on any one thing for a long period of time, and therefore we get distracted in all different directions. If we are able to explore the total potential of the mind, then we are able to bring harmony into life.
And there's this idea, through yoga, there's a kind of transformation of the nature, that one's, emotions become purified, become taken up and one becomes a more compassionate, loving person. I saw recently an article in a medical journal someone referred me to. I think it was in the New England Journal of Medicine recently, about the studies of meditators who had changed their brains, that meditation actually changes the structure of your brain, and that the section that corresponds with compassion was larger. What we do changes our physical body. The materialists have got it backwards, at least to an extent.